Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to our lesson, that is heredity and evolution. See, in my introductory lesson, the importance of variation I let you know, as well as I said you how the variation is taking place. See, it's a result of the sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction leads to DNA copying, and inaccuracies in a DNA copying is the accumulation of the traits, right? Accumulation of the different traits, or accumulation of the variations, right? So sexual reproduction, then DNA copying, inaccuracies in a DNA copying leads to variation, then accumulation into the variation leads to speciation, and finally speciation leads to evolution. That in introductory topic I said you. Along with that, the sex determination also getting explained by me in yesterday's video. So today we are going to talk about the further topic, that is heredity and evolution. Of this lesson, the further topic is there are some definitions we should know about before learning the rules for the inheritance. Okay, and we will talk about few characteristics of Sir George Gregor Mendel, who is called as a father of genetics. So here in this video, which is the last video of this complete our syllabus of heredity and evolution lesson. After that, evolution would get remain, but after finishing our revision, we shall let you know little bit about evolution too. But this topic, or this inheritance of laws are very important. Rules for the inheritance are important. So few things we are going to talk about before going directly for the rules, okay, which are given by the Sir Gregor John Mendel. So see, students, transmission of characteristics from one generation to the next generation is called as a heredity. We are knowing the transmission of characters from parents to their offspring is called as a heredity. So we will see, before going ahead or before learning the rules for the inheritance or of traits, we will see about character means what, because whenever you will read this lesson, that time you will read the traits and the characteristics. So is characteristic and the trait is the same term? No, students, this characteristic and trait are completely different terms. Okay, I shall let you know what is meant by trait and what is meant by character. So here in the definition it is given, a recognizable feature of a human being or any other organism are called characters. Okay, a recognizable feature, any recognizable feature. Okay, it can be a type of hair, it can be a pattern of nose, it can be a texture of hair, it can be a shape of your cheeks, it can be any different characteristic. Okay, any different thing which is saying about you. See, suppose hair is a character, but how the hair are curly or straight is a trait. Do you understand? I hope you understand. Hair color is a character, right? Hair color is a characteristic, but brown color or black color or any other color is a trait. I hope you understand. Characteristic means any feature of the body of the organism is said to be character. Any other things also we can take. Type of hair means in which the curly hair can come, the straight hair can come, a wavy hair can come. A wavy hair, a straight hair or a curly hair is called as a trait. Okay, and character is what? Type of hair, shape of hair. Okay, then nose may be straight, nose may be little large, nose may be little short. So type of a nose, okay, type of a nose will be character, but the shape of a nose will be character, but straight nose, but a little short nose, little long nose will be a trait. I hope you understand. So here it is given also, a recognizable feature of a human being or any other organism are called as a character. Okay, the color also can come. The complexion also can come. Complexion also can come as a character. Someone is black, someone is very fair. So other skin tone is different skin tones are there. That is whitish skin tone or any other skin tone. So skin tone is also a one kind of a character, okay, but white, fair, wittish, these are called as a traits. So a recognizable feature of a human being or any other organism are called as a character, and various forms of a character are called as a traits. I hope you understand this point. Any feature is called as a character. Any recognizable feature is called as a character, okay. Obesity also, obesity is not the type of your body, whether you're obese or whether you're thin, okay, type of your body. Obese type of the body is a character, but obesity or thinness is what? A trait. So I hope you understand the difference between the character and a trait. So various forms of a character are called as a traits. All the characters and all these characters we are getting because of our parents. Okay, just now I said you, transmission of characteristics from one generation to the next generation, or the transmission of characteristics from parents to their offsprings or their next generation is called as a heredity. So all these characteristics are controlled by the genes, which is the mixture of the parents. Understood? Only one parent genes are not getting expressed into the next generation. Okay, the mixture of the genes is taking place. So the characteristics which are controlled by genes are always, it is true that all the characteristics are controlled by the genes. Means whatever the characteristics we are getting, those characteristics we are getting because of the mixture of the gene. Understood? And the characteristics which is not from the parents, which is not from our family member, that is called as a variation. I hope you understand this point. So traits, these traits may be dominant or recessive. Now what is this dominant and recessive? So here are some inherited traits. Okay, the traits which we are getting from our parents are height. Okay, if even we can be tall, we can be dwarf even. Okay, we can be even short. Dwarf means also only short. So we can be tall, we can be short or dwarf. Or complexion, okay, or a skin tone, just now I said you. So complexion or a skin tone is a trait, okay. Complexion or a skin tone is character, okay, and the traits are whitish or whatever it is, okay. Shape of hair, color of eyes, shape of nose, these all are coming as a characteristic. Height, dwarf or short, complexion, fair or black, shape of hair, straight or curly, color of eyes, blue, brown, green, shape of nose, long or small. Okay, so these are some traits along with their characteristics. I hope you understand this. If you don't understand, you can ask me. So there are some inherited traits. Okay, now we will talk about some important things which are means a rule for the inheritance. But who has discovered this rule of inheritance and whose contribution is there into the rules for the inheritance? So the father of genetics is called as a Mendel. Okay, Mendel has a great contribution in for the rules of the inheritance. He had done a lot of experiment on the pea plant. Botanical name of this pea plant is Pisum sativum. He had done a lot work, okay, for this he is called as a father of genetics because he find out different things. He taken a various characteristic and it traits for his experiment. Here we are going to talk about one or two traits or one or two characteristic, but he had taken a lot of characteristic along with their traits and he tried to find out a different thing related to the genetics. So this is the salute for his work of Mendel, and Mendel has a great contribution towards its rules for the inheritance. So Mendel was born on 22nd July 1822 in Austria. Mendel was educated at the University of Vienna. Mendel worked on the rules of inheritance and he opted garden pea for his experiment. Actually, he had a garden of various plants were there for experiment to do study to work on it. But why he has chosen a pea plant? For that also there are various reasons why he has chosen only pea plant for his study. So he has chosen pea plant for further for some things that also we will see. And this Mendel is called as a Sir George Gregor Mendel. Okay, Sir George Gregor Mendel is called as a father of genetics because his contribution has given very good things for the other scientists who were working on this topic. So he is called as a father of genetics. So most of the time the question is asked, who is called as a father of genetics? Answer is Sir Gregor John Mendel is called as a father of genetics. Okay, now we'll go ahead. Why he has chosen a pea plant for his experiment? What is the requirement that he has chosen only opted for the pea plant? Okay, for his experiment. There are various plants were there in his garden, in his farm, where he was practicing also. So why he has chosen the pea plant only for the experiment? This question also asked by the NCERT sometimes. And the botanical name of this pea plant is Pisum sativum. Okay, keep in mind, student. So why Mendel opted for the pea plant for his experiment? Availability of detectable contrasting traits of several characteristics he found in the pea plant. Means he found a very much characteristic. Okay, which characteristics? Such as the seed shape. Okay, shape of the seed. He found this is round or wrinkled. Okay, as well as he got a color also, yellow and green color, as well as flower color, purple and white. Pod shape. Okay, whether it is long or little bit means a little bit wrinkled shape on it. So he found various characteristics along with the traits he found in the pea plant. So he has chosen a pea plant. So this is the first point: availability of detectable contrasting traits of of several characters such as seed shape, then color of flower, color of seed, as well as pod shape. There are various characteristics, whether the flowers are at the axial or at the terminal. Various are there which you are going to learn in class 11th or class 12th. You will go in detail for this genetics. At that time you will get to know that various characters were there along with the traits. So here in this class you will only have to study about it, texture and the color. So second point for why Mendel has opted pea plant for his experiment, that short lifespan of the plant. Okay, means immediately it can grow and it can fertilize and we can get a result. And frequently, not only one or two times he has done the experiment, thousands of times he has done the experiment, and at last he became successful. So various time he had to do experiment. If he will wait for the other, means mango tree or any other tree for 10 years and then he would do the study, then it would be difficult for him because his lifespan is also very small. So that to get a better results hurriedly, he has chosen this plant because of this short lifespan of the plant. Okay, means the plant can grow earlier, plant can get fertilized earlier, can reproduce earlier, and we can get to see the results also earlier. And he has to work on this for a long time. Okay, so he had done the experiment thousands of time. Okay, so short lifespan Pisum sativum he has chosen for the pea plant because of this reason. They normally allows self fertilization, but cross fertilization also can be carried out. Means self fertilization or the self pollination processes you are knowing. In a same flower the pollination can take place, and in a same flower the fertilization also can be takes place. At the same time the cross fertilization or a cross pollination also can be taken place, because in a pea plant whenever it is growing, not only 2 to 3 pea plant he was growing, a complete farm of a pea plant he was growing. So there were chances for the self fertilization also, or self pollination also, or at the same time the chances were of the cross pollination also. So both the things can be carried out into the pea plants in the same farming practices. So he has chosen a pea plant for his experiment. Okay, then next, large number of seeds are produced. Okay, at the same time large number of seeds are produced on which he can do his experiment for the study of genetics. So there are 4 points, that is availability of the detectable contrasting traits of several characteristics such as seed shape, seed color, then flower color, pod shape, or short lifespan of the plant normally allows self fertilization, but cross fertilization can also be carried out. Large number of seeds are produced, and so that he carried out his experiment. Here Mendel's in his experiment, Mendel conducted a series of experiments in which he crossed the pollinated plants to study one characteristic at a time. Okay students, it is very important that Mendel has never worked on only at a time on a different characteristic. He has taken only one characteristic for his experiment. If he has taken only one characteristic for his experiment, then that is called as a monohybrid cross. Okay. If he has taken a two characteristic for his experiment, then it is called as a dihybrid cross. So he had studied at a time only, he had taken only one characteristic for his work. Sometimes he has taken two also, but he has, means to find out the result, he has chosen always one characteristic. There are some important definitions, or there are some important terms before knowing his rules for the inheritance. So without knowing these definitions, we cannot go ahead and we cannot come to know his experiments which he had done on a pea plant. So there are some definitions that should be known by you students. So which are those definitions? The first definition is a dominant gene or a dominant trait. What is meant by dominant? See, in day-to-day life, we are saying that he has very dominating nature. She has very dominating nature. Dominating nature means what? Wants to rule on someone. Okay, wants to rule on someone, wants to be greater among everybody. That is called as a dominating trait or a dominating gene. So here is also the thing, the gene which decided the appearance of an organism even in the presence of the alternative gene. Means if there are two genes, okay, here we can take an example of a tallness. Tallness is what? One character, okay, or height is what? One characteristic. Or tallness and dwarfness we can see as a trait, okay. So if dominant gene we want to see, means dominating gene, if there is a crossbreed between tallness and the dwarfness, means in one characteristic, that is height, if you will try to cross the tall and the dwarf plant, and if after crossbreeding we are getting the result of tallness, it means that tallness is the dominant trait, the trait which is seen, okay, the trait which is seen or which can be appeared in a particular generation, that trait is called as a dominant trait. Do you understand? It doesn't mean that it does not have a short characteristics in its gene. Short characteristic is there, but that short characteristic is not seen in a particular generation. So that the gene or the trait which is seen into the particular generation, that is called as a dominant trait. Okay, so dominant trait is always seen. Dominant trait is always seen if the two dominant traits are there, then both are dominant. Okay, if one dominant and one recessive is there, then too it will be seen as a dominant trait, and if two recessives are there, then only it will be seen as a trait. You will get to know this. Then recessive gene. What is meant by recessive gene? The gene which is not able to see in presence of dominant. I said you, the gene which can be seen, that is called as a dominant, and the gene which cannot be seen, just now I gave example. Height we can take as a character. Okay, in height, tallness and dwarfness are the two traits. Okay, and if we will allow to crossbreed the tallness and the dwarfness, and we can see in a particular generation only a tall plant, then tallness is a dominant characteristic, and the characteristic which is not seen after crossbreeding, that is shortness or dwarfness, that will be a recessive trait. Okay, so I hope you understand the dominant trait and the recessive trait. Dominant traits are always written in capital, while recessive traits are always written in small. See, suppose height is the character. Okay, so tallness, tall, and dwarf. Okay, so it will be written as a T, and it will be written as a small t. Okay, actually dwarf so should be written as a D. No, but dominant is tall, so dominant it is only written, and dominant is always written as a capital T, and dwarf is always written as a small t. It will never be written as a small d. Understood? So what will happen? TT. Okay, here T, if we will try to cross T into T crossbred, and if we are getting result TT, it means that one T is enough for the dominant. Are you getting me? One T is enough for the dominant. If two T's are there, then also it is dominant. Two small T's will be there, then only it will be recessive. Okay, one T is enough to become dominant. 2T will be there, then it is dominant only. And if two small t will be there, then only it will be recessive. Okay, height is the character. Tallness and dwarfness are what? Traits. If you will try to crossbred them, then if TT we will get, then it's T, capital T is enough to become dominant. If 2T will be there, then it is dominant, and TT will be only recessive. So when we will write dominant, one T, capital T is enough to become dominant. If 2T will be there, then obviously it will be dominant. But one T is capital and another T is small, then it will be dominant. If two small T's were there, then only it will be recessive. See student, this is cell. Okay, this is cell, this is cell, and this part is called as a nucleus. This nucleus is composed of what? This nucleus is composed of what? Nucleus is composed of nucleoplasm. Okay, nucleoplasm is in a haphazard manner, I said you. Okay, at the time of the cell division only it acquires the shape of a chromosome, and this is the sex chromosome. This chromosome's shape is like this, something. Okay, this chromosome shape is like this. This is chromosome, one chromosome. This chromosome is composed of DNA. Okay, DNA you are knowing student, double helical structure. It's a double helical structure. DNA is a double helical structure which is called as a deoxyribonucleic acid. I hope you understand. This is cell. This is cell. This cell contains nucleoplasm. This nucleoplasm contains chromosome. Chromosome is composed of DNA, means whole this chromosome is a strand of DNA. This whole chromosome is a strand of DNA. Okay, and whenever this strand of DNA, okay, the part of the DNA, any part can be there, the part of the DNA which is transfer from one generation to the next generation, that part is called as a gene. Or the segment of DNA which is transfer from the parents, okay, to the next generation, that is called as a gene. Okay, it may be anything, right? It may transfer any characteristic. Our gene means whole chromosome is composed of gene, and from that gene any character can be expressed in a particular generation, and that expressed characteristic is called as a gene. Okay, the segment of DNA is called as a gene. See here, what is mean by? The next term is phenotype. What is mean by phenotype? The external and morphological appearance of an organism for a particular characteristic is called as a phenotype. Means how does it look physically? Means expressed, the characteristic which is expressed. Okay, because of this physical appearance, the characteristic is seen, that is called its phenotype. And genotype is what? The genetic constitution of an organism. See here, phenotype means what? The characteristic which can be seen. Okay, which can be seen by others are called as a phenotype characteristic. And genotype characteristic is what? The genetic constitution of an organism. Okay, now can we see a chromosome? Can we see a nucleus? Can we see a DNA? Can we see a gene? These characteristics are not seen by us, but the characteristic hair color, whether black or brown or white, can be seen, right? So that characteristic is called was phenotypic ratio or phenotypic character or phenotype. But the gene, whether if the person has a black color hair, the person may have other gene also which is for the brown hair, but that characteristic is not seen in this particular generation. So So that characteristic is called as a genotypic character. Understood? So the appearance or the morphological characteristic which can be seen by other things or by seen us, that are called as a phenotypic character. And genotypic characters are present into the particular gene, into their gene, because genetic material is there, as nucleus is there, as chromosome is there, as DNA is there, so that all the genes are present, and genetic characteristics are called as a genotype, and the characteristic which can be seen are called as a phenotype characteristic. So for example, in the organism we can see here, see suppose both tall plants are there, both tall plants are there. Both tall plants will result into tallness. We are knowing it will result into tallness, but one tall plant would be there and one short plant would be there, and if the tall plant is tall, then it is dominant characteristic. Its phenotypic ratio is what? Phenotypic ratio was tall. Okay, and if two small plants will be there, then it is called as a dwarf, means it will be result to the dwarf plant. It is recessive characteristic which is written by the small t. Okay, TT is going to be result tallness, capital T smallness, obvious tallness because T is the dominant. Small t will only result into the dwarf. Understood? I hope you understand. Capital T capital tallness. Okay, small t capital T tallness. Only two small t will result into the dwarf plant. Now students, we will go for the first rule of the Mendel, okay, on which he has done the experiment, and that rule is called as a Mendel's monohybrid cross. Okay, for that experiment, for his monohybrid cross, he has taken a single characteristic. Okay, as he has chosen a single characteristic, so it is called as a monohybrid cross. Now characteristic is what? A height of the plant, and two traits are involved of a one characteristic. If height is the characteristic, then two traits will be tall and a dwarf. So he has taken that characteristic only, and one characteristic he has taken for the crossbred. So that is called as a monohybrid cross or a monohybrid ratio. We will see now what is the experiment. So first what he did, he has taken a pure tall plant. Okay, pure tall plant he has taken. Okay, tall plant he has taken, pure tall plant. In the pure tall plant, he found capital T because the plant was pure tall, no short plant. So pure tall plant will be denoted by both capital T. And he tried to crossbreed with the pure short plant. Now pure short plant will be denoted by what? Pure short plant, small t. Okay, and he allowed to crossbreed. He allowed to crossbreed them, and what was the result? He got 4 plants. He got 4, which plants he got? In their crossbreeding, he got 4 tall plants. Okay, he got 4 tall plants. And what was the ratio of that 4 tall plants? This was the ratio. What it indicates? This is tall because one T is capital, so this plant is tall. Here also, one capital T, one small t will result into tall plant. One capital T, small t will result into tall plant. One capital T, small t, then it is result into tall plant. Means what he found? These all tall plants. Now its phenotype is what? Tallness. And its genotype is what? Recessive characteristic is also there, na, small t. So its phenotype is what? Tallness. But its genotype is what? Capital T, small t. I hope you understand genotype and phenotype here. See what Mendel does. Mendel took one plant which is pure tall, means both are tall. Okay, one short plant, that is small t he has taken. And he allowed them to crossbreed. And what he got the result? He got the result that all plants were tall. But means all plants were tall means that is its phenotype. That is what? Its phenotype. And what is the genotype? Capital T small t, capital T small t, capital T small t is its genotype. Okay, the characteristic which can be seen, that is called as a phenotypic character. And the characteristic which cannot be seen, which is present into the gene of the plant, that is called as a genotype. Okay, so tallness is the dominant characteristic also. Okay, so here which characteristic is the dominant characteristic? Tallness, because one is capital tall. So this is called as a first generation. Okay, this is called as a F1 generation or the first generation. Okay, and this is called as a F2 generation. This is called as a F2 generation. Okay, this is called as a F1 generation. Capital T, small t, pure tall, pure short, he allowed to crossbreed, that is F1 generation. Okay, and this is F2 generation. In F2 generation, phenotypic characteristic is tallness, but genotypic characteristic is one tall, one short, one tall, one short, one tall, one short. Okay, he got like the phenotype and genotype. Then what he did? Now what he did, he took out of these two plants, okay, he took only these two plants in allowed to crossbreed. Okay, now what he did, capital T small t into capital T small t. Now what result he got? What result he got? He got three tall plants. He got three tall plants. But what? How the result he got? Capital T, capital T, capital T small t, capital T small t, and small t. Now you say this is what? Capital T capital means what? Tall. Capital T small t means what? Tall. Capital T small t means what? Tall. And too short will result into dwarf plant. Okay students, means what? How many T's are there? How many capital T's are there? 1. How many capital T and small t's are there? 1 and 2. So 1 as to 2. And how many small t's are there? 1. So its phenotypic ratio will be 3 tall, na? So 3 as to 1, it's its phenotypic ratio. And 1 as to 2 as to 1 is its genotypic ratio. I hope you understand. Okay. Phenotypically, how many tall plants are there? 3 tall plants are there. Okay. How many short plants are there? 1 short plant is there. So its ratio phenotypically will be 3 as to 1. And genotypically, its ratio will be 1 as to 2 as to 1. Why 1 as to 2 as to 1? Because how many T's are there? How many capital T's are there? 1. Okay. How many capital T small t's are there? 2. How many small t's are there? 1. So its genotypic ratio will be 1 as to 2 as to 1. This is the first law of inheritance of the Mendel, and that is called as a law of monohybrids cross or a monohybrid cross, which is designed by the Mendel. Okay, one more time I would like to say you that he has taken one capital T means complete pure tall plant. He allowed to crossbreed with the pure short plant, and he got, this is the first generation, and he got the result that capital T small t 4 plant he got. In that all 4 plant, its phenotypic ratio was, its phenotype was all tall plants were there. Okay, but genotypically he has found that plants were tall, means capital T small t, capital T small t, capital T small t. Okay, phenotype is small t, phenotype is what? All type tall plants, and genotype was capital T small t, capital T small t. But as T is the dominant characteristic, so tallness is seen into the F2 generation. Now what he did, he took these 2 plants of this, any 2 plants he took and allow it to crossbreed, and he got the result that 3 plants were tall and 1 plant is short. So that is called as a 3 as to 1 phenotypically. But if you will try to see genotypically, then he got how many plants, how many T were 1, 2 T's were 1. Okay, so 2 capital T capital is 1. Capital T small t, how many he got? 2. And how many got he? Small t only? 1. So its genotypic ratio is 1 as to 2 as to 1. So this is all about the Mendel's first law of inheritance, that is its monohybrid cross.